This is how you can make AI agents do anything, including this. Hey AI agent, how many meetings do I have in February? Let's click send. Now the AI agent is going to listen to my message, check my calendar, and then send me a response back on Telegram.
You have 30 events scheduled in February.
I'm going to show you how to build an AI agent that can do all of this, plus anything else you want without having to code. Starting with creating your n8n IO account. You're going to go to n8n.io. You're going to go ahead and sign in or sign up. On your dashboard, you just want to open up your workspace. So at the top right, click the orange button that says create workflow, creating your n8n IO account. You're going to go to n8n.io. You're going to go ahead and sign in or sign up. On your dashboard, you just want to open up your workspace. So at the top right, click the orange button that says create workflow, and then you'll be greeted by this text that says add first step. So you're going to click this, the big plus button. This opens up a search bar, and we need to add what's called a trigger node. You always add a trigger node first. So what you're going to do is type in Telegram. It's going to come up here, and the trigger right here, there's trigger and actions, but the trigger is on a message. So when we receive a message, we want to do something with this. Now, the first thing and the big thing that's going to make this happen is you need to have the credentials for Telegram. As you can see, I already have an account, but you may not have one yet. So you're going to choose create new credential. And then what we need here is an access token. But how do we get the access token? Well, I'm about to show you, but also to follow along in case you might get messed up in some areas, you can just click the open docs. And then this is n8n's documentation on how to access that how to get that access token. But we're going to go through that right now. So first off, create a Telegram account through Google Play Store or the Apple Store. Once you've done that, you create an account, you're going to go to web.telegram.org. Then at the top left here, you're going to search for bot father, capital B, capital F. You know, there are a lot of imitations, but in the chat's context, you want the one that's over 2 million monthly users. And then once you've clicked bot father, at the top right, you're going to see the start button. Just click start. It's going to give you a list of these commands, right? But what we're going to do is type /new bot. Now we're going to start creating our new bot. Now what we need to do next is give it a name. So I can just simply say Tyler n8n bots. It doesn't really matter. But now what we need to do is give it a username ending with bot, like lowercase bot. So now I can say Tyler n8n _bot. Okay, great. Now what we've got is an access token right here. So you click this to copy it. We're going to go back to our workflow, and you're going to paste that in right here, and you're going to click save. And now you're going to have your Telegram account. Now I already have mine, so I don't need to save that. But the first thing and what I recommend doing at almost every step is testing it. So now just click this test step. Now it's saying it's going to be listening for a test event. Now go back to your Telegram account. Now where we got the access token, at the top here, it says, congratulations on your new bot. You're on your new bot. You will find it at, you click this link. Now again, you're not going to have messages here yet. So you'll click the start button. Of course, this isn't going to do anything for me, but in my actual bot that I'm going to use, I'm going to say hello as well. And then if we come back to the workflow, you see, it listened to the event, it got it, and it recognized that the text was hello. So we've logged into our n8n account. We started the Telegram trigger node. Now we need to check for if it's a voice or a text that it's listening for. Now we need to go back to what's called the canvas. So you can either click at the top here or actually click back to canvas. Now we have our Telegram trigger set up. So again, we need to check if it's a text or voice. Now click the plus button here to add another node to this and search for set. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to set a property, whether the text is there or not, and then we can determine whether it's a voice or chat or text message. Okay, so what we want to do here is you can drag and drop. So again, because we tested it already, you'll have input here, and this is the output from the trigger node. So you can drag and drop the text, put it right here. However, we need to change this. So I'm going to give this to you. This will be in the JSON here whenever you go to use this, but this is going to say it's optional that there is a text message. That's what the question mark's for. It doesn't really matter, but it's basically saying if the text doesn't exist, then just set the return or set this to an empty text message. So those be the double quotes, meaning it's an empty string. So if we test this now, and you know, one more thing I want to actually do is I want to modify this message.txt to only output just text, not message.txt. So now if I test this step again, it's just going to output text, and this is going to be helpful in a few minutes. Okay, so now the next thing we need to do is check if that exists or not. If that text message doesn't exist, then we know it's a voice, then we can do something with that. Otherwise, we can send that straight to the AI agent. So click this plus button on the right-hand side. We have different categories of all the nodes. So if we click flow, because we want to do an if statement next. So then we choose that, then choose if, and then basically we can put this in here. If this string is empty, meaning that we then know it's a voice, then we'll go that route. If it's not, meaning this text message exists, then we can just send it straight to the AI agent. And again, like I said, test at every point you possibly can. So click the test step. This is going to false because this text is not empty. So this is going to return false. And then we want to do next is basically connect this to an AI agent, then we'll do the voice. So click this plus button. You can actually just choose advanced AI and then choose AI agent. There's a little bit going on here. So first off, the agent, this is the type of agent. Just choose tools. It doesn't matter. There are other options, but for us, we're just choosing tools. The source for the prompt, it typically checks for a chat message. We're not having a chat. We're using Telegram, but so we wanted to choose define below. Okay, so then we're going to drag this in. So now that we have the text message being sent to the AI agent, we're going to give a system prompt and everything here in just a bit. But the next thing, if I were to test this, it's not going to do anything. It's actually going to error out. If you try this, it's going to error out because it says a chat model subnode must be connected. Well, if we go back to the canvas, as you can see, it's red, besides the fact that it just failed, is we have this red asterisk right here in the middle by the chat model. We need to give this an LLM. We haven't given an LLM yet. So click this plus button. You can choose from any of these on the side here. I'm just going to choose OpenAI for now. Once you chose OpenAI, from the model list, I'm going to choose O3 Mini. Now I can only do that because I already have an OpenAI account. If you don't have that yet, click on Create New Credential, grab your API key from OpenAI's platform, bring that back here, paste that in, save it, and then now you will have an OpenAI account to use here. And we'll also use it for transcribing in just a minute. Okay, great. So now that we have the chat model, and we can test this step again because we already have the input, right? So test this step. It's going to probably say something, how are you doing? So the output is, hello there. How can I help you today? Okay, great. Now you can also drag and drop these to make them, make it look a little more organized. But now what I want to do is actually want to add the voice. If we send a voice over, I want to send that into the agent as well. So it doesn't matter if it's text or voice. To do that, let's first test the workflow because I want you to see why I'm about to do what I'm going to do. So test the workflow. So we're going to test this again. Sorry, I had something queued up. Then go back to Telegram and I want you to send a voice message. So click the microphone down here at the bottom right. Hey, how are you doing today? Then send it. So then my workflow, you see it had the edit field, then it chose the if statement, but instead this if statement is now true because that text is empty. If we come back to the if statement, this JSON text, it came in as empty. So this is now true. Now we need to do something with this. Well, click this plus button. What we actually need to do is we need to download the audio file. So search for Telegram, click this, and then there's a bunch of actions. So what we want to do is actually get a file. So we're going to get that file, and there's no way to know what to do right now, right? There's actually no way to know what to do, but we want to choose schema. You can choose three different ways to view all the previous input because it's not just the previous node input that you get all of the previous node's input before the node you're looking at. And what you want to do is come down here, search for voice, and then go to file ID, drag and drop that here. Okay. Then we want to test this step, and we should get a data file of that voice or of the audio. Great. Again, test it. Now we need to transcribe that audio file. So now we want to add another node to this. Let's search for OpenAI. Now you want to choose OpenAI, not OpenAI chat model that is only for the AI agent. Choose OpenAI. And then if you come down to near the bottom, there is a generate audio, transcribe. We want to transcribe a recording, not translate. That's different language to language translating. We'll transcribe a recording, and then you really don't need to change anything here. Now, if you test this step, because we have the data file here, it kind of already has the data field name as data, because that's just what it expects. Test the step. Okay, great. I just tested it again, so I actually had an actual message. So it just says, hey, how are you doing? So nothing else has changed. But now all you need to do, now that we have the output, which again is just text, right? That's important, that property name. We're gonna just take this, drag and drop it into the AI agent. So now we have 2 different nodes attached to the AI agent, and that's perfectly fine. Now, if we come in here, I know that it says empty, but if we come to the schema, right, it's getting this text message, the last one, which was the openai, how are you doing? Now, in order to test this, we actually have to just run this whole thing again. It doesn't like it just testing it the way I had it. So click test workflow at the bottom. So we're starting over. Go back to your Telegram bot. Send, hey, how are you doing today? I'm sending another message. I didn't want to screw that up again. Coming back here, you see it went through. It realized it was a voice. Came in here. Now, if I double click this AI agent, it says, I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. How about you? What's on your mind today? Okay, great. What we've done is it doesn't matter what's a text or voice. It's listening for Telegram and then sending that to the AI agent, and it's responding with our OpenAI chat model. So we checked for voice or text, and now we've added the AI agent, but we want to give it tools. Let's do that next. Now we just need to start adding all of our tools. So in the AI agent, click this plus button where the tool is, and then all we have to do is search for calendar. So it's really Google Calendar. We're going to click this, and then you're going to come up with a bunch of different properties. Okay, so first off, you're going to need to create a Google Calendar account, and this is so easy whenever using n8n's cloud hosted platform. You just create a new credential. You're going to sign in with your Google account, and that's it. Then you're going to have the credentials for a Google account, which we're going to use for the other Google Calendar tools. So in the resources, you can choose calendar, event, or have a custom API call. We're just going to keep it at event. We want to create, but you can also delete, get many, update, or have another custom API call. But again, we're just going to create for the first one to try it out. To select a calendar, choose your Gmail address. And then when we want to create an event, we don't really want to hard code this, right? This is an AI agent. We want the agent to decide based on our input to input these parameters so that it gets created. So instead, what we're going to have here, you're going to say from AI, and then in here, we're going to have to just we're just going to give some key value so that the AI knows what to insert in here. So this will be the start event date. Okay, so the AI is going to determine what to put in there for us, so that it's not deterministic every time. And then for the end, we want to say, we just copy that, paste it, and we can just put end event date. And then we could also, under the properties down here, to add a field, we can choose description. And guess what? You're gonna do the same thing. Just make sure that you always choose, there's fixed and expression. Just make sure you choose expression so that it actually takes this JavaScript expression. But here, we're just gonna let AI put in description. And then that's it, okay? So then you come back here. Now we've created our first tool. Now let's test this out with just one tool, and then we can go ahead and add the rest. So let's go ahead and test the workflow. So it's waiting for a Telegram trigger. We're gonna come back here and say, can you create an event titled testing 1, 2, 3 for tomorrow at 3 p.m. and it will last 30 minutes. Okay, so we sent that. We're gonna come back here. As you can see, it knows it's a text file. The AI agent is deciding what to do, is talking to the OpenAI model. Then it went ahead and created the event, called the tool, created the event. Then if we look at the output real quick, it says that it was successfully created for tomorrow. And now if we check, so today's the 19th, over here, I actually don't have one. So what happened here? And this is important for you to understand. So if we look at the tool, and you can look at the response from the tool when it created it. So it did create it, but it created it for 2023 and October 11th. And then the end date would be October 11th at 5:30 p.m. So why did it do that? Well, that's because it doesn't, that's when like the AI model, that was like the last training date. So we need to actually give it the current date now so that it knows in reference to the current date how to create that event accordingly. So this is where we're going to add our first prompt, our system prompt. So open up your AI agent. For the option, you're going to choose system message. Then here, after your helpful assistant, we want to say, make sure you have the expression again checked. Say today's date is, and then you can have the double brackets and just say now. So now it knows that it's February 19th when I'm doing this, 2025. And now it's going to have a reference to a date to actually execute that event, so the AI can fill in those events or those properties successfully and correctly in the Google Calendar event where we had here from AI. So if we come back, we're going to test this again. And basically just going to say the same thing. Let me just actually copy this and then paste that in here. And then it's going to come back in here, do the same thing again, talk to the model. Then it's going to fill in the properties for the Google Calendar event. And now it's going to output successfully again. But let's check our calendar now. And now look, we have one for 3 p.m. If I open this up, the description is testing 1, 2, 3, and it lasts for 30 minutes from 3 to 3:30. Okay, awesome. This now worked properly. Well, now what we can do is go ahead and add the other tools as well. So go ahead and click this to add another tool. We're just going to put in type in calendar, filter for Google Calendar. And this time, instead of creating, let's go ahead. Let's just say we want to retrieve an event. So then we want to retrieve it from our email address. For the event ID, again, you don't actually need to know it. You're not going to know the event ID ahead of time. So we want AI to do this for us. So we're going to the curly braces. And again, this is from AI. And then in here, you can just type event_ID. Okay, so now the AI is going to determine the event ID here. Then we can come back here. We can add another tool. We can, again, filter for calendar. We are going to add this here. Instead of create, let's call it update. And then again, we are going to choose our calendar. And basically, we are going to choose expression and then curly braces. And then again, put from AI, then give it event ID. Okay, that's like kind of the name, so it knows like what to fill in from the chat model. And then also, I'm going to add the description. So in case I just want to update the description, make sure this is expression in here, and then from AI description. So new description. Okay, so again, this is going to allow AI to update these fields. Okay, awesome. Now we got 3 here. So we have create, get, and update. And then we're going to go ahead and add one more. We're going to add a get many calendar tool. Okay, because what we need to do is, in order to get a single event, if we want to just retrieve a single event, we kind of need to get a list of events around that time, because it requires an event ID. Well, it's not just gonna be the AI will fill that in, but it needs to fill it in from some information. So in here, instead of creating, we can get many. We're going to select this. Then it's going to be after from event. So from AI can be, we can say day before start time. And then what we can do, we can come in here. After, then this is, so then this will be day after. So then we can make sure we have enough range based on, if I say I want to get it tomorrow, then it will make sure it checks from today and the day after, get all those, and then make sure you can get the correct one. Okay, so let's go ahead and save this. Now let's test the workflow. Then I'm going to come in here. I'm going to say, can you get, let me try this again. Can you get my 3 p.m. event tomorrow? So it should come in here. It's going to talk to the AI agent. It's going to first it's going to try to get all the events, and then it can try and get that single event after it gets all of them. Or it's just going to get all of them, and then from there, it's going to determine that. So your 3 p.m. event tomorrow is scheduled from 3 to 3:30. The event description reads testing 1, 2, 3. So it didn't even actually need to look at that one. It just got it from retrieving all of them, then it got it. Okay, so that works also. Then let's go ahead and add a Gmail tool, create a draft. So you want to search Gmail. After you add another tool to create a Gmail account, you have to create a new credential. Just sign in again. This is same thing. You're just gonna sign in so you have your credentials. And then in here, we want to, instead of message, let's do a draft. So let's create a draft. The subject, this will be an expression. We are going to let AI determine this for us. So this is, kind of hear me say the same thing. This is going to be the subject. So the message will be a summary. So we just want to kind of take a summary and make this an expression. Summary of event. Okay. And then we can also, send to email. So then we're going to do the same thing. We want to send this to somebody as a draft. So let's put this in here and to email, so that whenever we ask it to send it, then it'll be able to grab that from whatever we input as our text or voice message. So I'm asking it to get a 3 p.m. event tomorrow. create a draft for my other email address. So I'm going to send this. Already had that queued. Okay, so it's trying to, again, get the 3 p.m. event tomorrow. You should get that from, like, I already used the get all event calendar. So it's talking here. It's trying to figure it out. It's going to come here, get the calendar event, and then it will go ahead and call the Gmail draft. So it got the event. Now it's this, and it's going to try and create a draft. It's going to take all the information and put that information into the Gmail. So it did. Now I need to make sure it created it. Okay, and even though this doesn't look pretty, it says here are the details for your 3 p.m. Tomorrow, and the draft is from my email address to my other one. Okay, you're doing great. We're almost there. We just now need to add voice response back to Telegram. How we do that is the output that we got. We first need to come in here and add a way to have OpenAI take that text and convert it to speech, which is text to speech. So you're going to come in here, search for OpenAI, click this, and then we're going to generate audio. Okay, now with this, most of this is done. We just need to drag and drop the output, which is, well, that's the name of the property, but it's the input from the previous node, the AI agent. This is what output. So we want the OpenAI to generate the audio from this, okay? Now to really understand how to send that back to Telegram, let's test this really quick. So we need to test the workflow. I'm gonna come in here. I'm gonna say, how many events do I have in February? So it's gonna go back. So it's testing it. This was text, so it went through right straight through. It's getting all the events, talking to AI. It's going to then, when that's done with the output, it's going to send that to the generate audio. Then OpenAI is going to go ahead and take that text, convert it to audio. Then the last thing is we're going to have to send that to Telegram. But how do we do that? Okay, so it did that. Now let's go ahead and add another node. This is going to be Telegram again. So we're going to add a Telegram node, except we're going to send an audio file. And I'm going to kind of explain why I did it this way. So for any time you're working with Telegram, you need to have the chat ID, which is in this case the name of our chatbot that we have created in Telegram. So in order to get that, you can either hard code that. You can hard code it by going to the initial trigger. Once you do it once, it has the chat ID. You can copy that, put that right here in the chat ID, or what I'm about to show you is you can go back to the schema, go back to the Telegram trigger, and then just drag and drop the property here. So now that it's not hard coded, in case you want to use this for another workflow that's another bot, then you don't have to go and change that property. You can just leave that right here. So now we have up here, you see there's a binary file. Anytime you have like a file like this, it's a binary file. So here, let's choose binary file. It already knows that it's called data. Okay, so let's go ahead and test this end to end. So we're going to test the workflow. Now we're going to wait again. Can you give me all of the events I have for February and then create another draft email about it? It's going to recognize that was a voice command. It's going to do essentially the same thing. It's going to get all the events for February, then create the draft, generate the audio for that. Then once it generates the audio, it takes that file and then sends that as audio to Telegram. And then finally we can listen to it and we will have completed the whole workflow. Look, I understand that this is not easy from end to end, especially the first time you're doing this, but you're doing great. You can do this. Okay, so it's generating the audio or it's generating the output still. Okay, so it completed. It generated the calendar or got the calendar events. Then it created a draft email, transcribed that into audio, and then send that back as a Telegram message. Well, let's listen to it.
I've compiled all your February events and created a draft email with a summary. Check your Gmail drafts for the email titled February Calendar Events Summary. Let me know if you need any edits.
And here it is. Here is a draft email of everything I have going on in February. Perfect. Okay, great. You just went from beginning to end, creating your own agent that works with Telegram, text or voice. You have an AI agent that works with Calendar and Gmail, and you can retrieve that or send it back as audio to Telegram. Wonderful. You have done great. And again, if you want to learn more about AI agents and how to create them, then join my school community below because I will show you everything that you need to know. I am here to help you with your goals. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next video.